our wonderful body. Various parts of the body form a system to perform specific functions such as skeletal system, muscular system, nervous system, excretory system, urinary system, digestive system, and respiratory system. Organ and organ systems of human body. We have so far learned that different types of cells get together to make different tissues, which then form organs that perform different functions. All the internal organs are well protected by the skeleton, our bony framework, and our skin. The human body is truly a living marvel. The organ systems that work together to make the body function well are: digestive system. It ensures proper digestion of the food we eat and subsequent excretion of the waste matter. Respiratory system. The respiratory system is involved in the intake of oxygen and release of carbon dioxide. Through this process of respiration, it carries out the function of releasing energy from the food we eat. Circulatory system. It facilitates the circulation of blood throughout our body so that each cell gets the oxygen and nutrition it needs. Excretory system. This system helps to keep the body clean from the inside. Waste products from our body in the form of sweat and urine are released through various organs like skin and kidneys. The body as we see and feel is because of the skeletal and muscular system. These two systems together give shape and height to our body and give us our facial features. Let us understand more about our framework of bones and muscles. Skeletal system. Our body would not have a structure or form without the skeleton or the body's internal framework. The human body has more than 270 bones at birth. As one grows up, many of these bones fuse together and thus reduce to 206 bones in an adult human. Bones are made up of living cells containing minerals like calcium and phosphorus, which strengthen them and also harden the skeletal framework. Bone marrow is a soft, jelly-like substance found in the cavities of bones. It produces red and white blood cells. A bone marrow transplant can save the lives of people battling many kinds of serious illnesses. After donation, bone marrow replaces itself within 4 to 6 weeks. Functions of the skeletal system. 1. It gives form and shape to our body. 2. It envelops and protects delicate internal organs like brain, heart, stomach, lungs, and kidneys. 3. It facilitates physical movement along with the muscles. 4. The bone marrow in the bones produces blood cells. Bones are framework. Press your fingers, arms, legs, and your head. Feel hard to the touch, don't they? Well, there are bones inside these parts. Now, press your lips and your eyelids. These are soft because there are no bones inside these parts. The bones of our body are joined together in such a way that we can move, walk, bend, that is forward, backward, and sideways, etc. The bones of our body differ in size and shape. Our wonderful body. Parts of the skeletal system. The parts of the skeleton include the skull, spine or backbone, rib cage, limbs and girdles. Skull. The skull is also called the cranium. It houses and protects the brain and is made up of 22 bones. Of these, 8 bones join together to form the cranium and are called cranial bones. The other 14 bones give you your facial features and protect the sense organs like eyes, nose, tongue, and are called facial bones. The upper and lower jawbone holds the teeth and helps you bite and crush food. The lower jaw is the only movable bone of the skull. Backbone. Touch your back and feel the hard part running from your neck down to your back. The backbone or spine is made up of 33 bones called the vertebrae and is joined to the skull. The 33 ring-shaped vertebrae are placed one over the other, forming a vertebral column through which the spinal cord passes. The spine is a flexible part of the body that facilitates twisting and bending of our back in different directions. The vertebral column offers protection to the delicate spinal cord. Rib cage. It is a cage-like bony structure that protects our heart and the lungs. The rib cage has 12 pairs of ribs attached to the vertebrae. The top 7 pairs of ribs are attached to the breastbone or sternum. The 3 pairs of ribs below them are attached together and then join the sternum. The last 2 ribs are called floating ribs as they are not joined to the sternum. Limbs. Our bodies have 2 limbs, upper limb and lower limb. Upper limb has 2 parts, arm and hand. Arm. The arm is made up of long bones. The humerus is in the upper arm. Radius and ulna are 2 bones in the lower or forearm. Hand. The hand has 27 bones in all. While the wrist has 8 bones, the palm has 5 and the fingers have 14 bones. We have 27 bones in each hand that help us to write, draw, and carry out other activities. Lower limb has 2 parts, leg and foot. Leg. The leg is made up of long bones. The upper leg or thigh bone is called femur. Tibia and fibula form the lower leg part. Foot. The foot has 26 bones in all. The ankle has 7, the base of the foot has 5, and there are 14 bones in the toes. Girdles. The arms and the legs are supported by a set of bones called girdles. The arms are supported by the shoulder or pectoral girdle, and the legs are supported by hip or pelvic girdle, by a ball and a socket joint. Both the girdles allow movement of the arm and legs in all directions. Our wonderful body. Joints. Joints are places in the body where 2 bones are linked to each other. There are over 100 joints that allow the various kinds of movements in our body. There are 2 types of joints, movable and immovable. Movable joints. These are joints that facilitate flexible movement of the bones. There are 4 types of joints. Hinge joint. Look at the door and notice how it is joined to its frame on the wall. A door can be opened only in 2 directions, backward and forward. It is joined to the frame by means of hinges. The joints at the elbow and knee are hinge joints which allow the elbow and knee to bend in only one direction. Ball and socket joint. A bowler turns his arm 360 degrees while bowling. This is possible only because of the ball and socket joint. The shoulder bone has a round depression or socket. The head of the bone of the upper arm is rounded like a ball. This ball fits and turns in the socket and thus makes the circular movement possible. This is the most mobile joint of our body. The thigh bone is also joined to the hip bone by a ball and socket joint. Pivot joint. We often turn our head to look around us. The pivot joint allows the skull to move from side to side. From left shoulder to right shoulder, the movement is about 180 degrees. We can also move our head backward and downward. This is made possible by the pivot joint. This joint functions like the handle of the bicycle. Gliding joint. The bones of our wrists and ankles have gliding joints. These joints allow many complex movements at the wrist and ankle. Gliding joints are also present in the vertebral column. Immovable joints. The joints that do not allow movement of bones are called immovable joints. The skull bones have immovable joints that protect the brain. The teeth are joined to the lower and upper jaws by these types of joints. Our wonderful body. Muscular system. The muscular system is made up of muscles and tendons. Muscles help us make different movements. Our bones cannot move on their own. They have to be pulled. Muscles are attached to the bones by tendons. They help the bones to move by pulling them. The muscles can pull but not push, and so they always work in pairs. All muscles do not pull bones. Some of these are muscles that help us to open and close our eyelids, muscles of our face that help us to smile, laugh, etc. Our heart is also made up of such muscles. The muscles pump blood to all the parts of our body. Our tongue is also a muscle. Types of muscles. Voluntary muscles. Voluntary muscles help us to carry out actions as per our will, like walking, eating, and writing. Arms, legs, etc. have voluntary muscles. Involuntary muscles. We do not have control on the functioning of organs like the heart, intestine, and stomach. Neither do our heart muscles start pumping blood on our wish, nor can our stomach muscles stop churning the food. The muscles of the stomach, heart, intestines, etc. are involuntary muscles. Their actions cannot be controlled consciously. The nervous system. The nervous system comprises the brain, the spinal cord, and the neurons or nerve cells. It controls all the activities of our body. The space between the skull and the brain is filled with a fluid. This acts as a shock absorber and protects the brain from sudden jerks or an injury. Nerves, also called nerve fibers, are made up of nerve cells or neurons. The nerves from the head and neck are connected to the brain directly. The nerves from other parts of the body are joined to the spinal cord. The spinal cord starts from the brain and runs down through our vertebral column. The nervous system controls all the other systems of our body. Let us learn about our brain. The brain. The brain is divided into three parts. Cerebrum. This part controls our thoughts, voluntary movements, language, reasoning, and perception. It is the biggest part of the brain, constituting 85% by weight. Cerebellum. The cerebellum lies in the lower back part of the brain. It carries out the important function of coordinating motor movements, balance, and posture of the body. Medulla. It is the lowest part of the brain, continuous with the spinal cord. It controls functions like respiration and heart rate. Our wonderful body. The excretory system. Just as our house, classroom, and surroundings should be cleaned regularly, our body should also be kept clean. We can wash our body from outside, but what about the wastes that are produced inside the body? We have learnt that in the digestive system, the large intestine moves solid waste through the anus. The respiratory system helps us to release gaseous wastes like carbon dioxide and water vapor from the lungs through the nose. The liquid waste produced in the body is released from our body through the urinary system and the skin. The kidneys. The kidneys remove waste from the blood and produce urine by a sieve-like action. Drop by drop, the urine gets collected in the urinary bladder through the ureters. When the bladder is full, a sensation of urination is produced. The urethra, which starts from the bladder, carries the urine out of the body. Urine contains 96% water. The skin. Our skin removes liquid waste in the form of sweat. Sweat is produced by the sweat glands present beneath the skin. Sweat glands are coiled tube-like structures. These tubes open on the surface of the skin through sweat pores. The amount of waste given out by the skin is small, but it is mainly sweat which keeps our body temperature constant. When we feel warm, the body regulates the temperature by sweating, which on evaporating from the skin makes us feel cool. This way, the body temperature is effectively regulated. Our skin is sturdy, extremely sensitive, waterproof, and stretchable. It keeps us warm and protects us from cold.